To start with, we're going to go over the various components we're going to use in this demonstration. If you're already familiar with these parts, you can go ahead and skip to the actual installation portion of this video. This first piece here is the pipe connector, which we're going to use to connect to either 1.5-inch piping inside, or you can connect it to 2-inch piping using a coupling or other 2-inch fitting on the outside of this fitting. We'll have 2 of these per collector, or if there's an array of collectors, there'll be 2 as well. We'll have an end cap on the 2 ends of the manifolds that don't use these pipe connectors. And then we're going to have these plastic panel clamp assemblies. So these plastic panel clamps are used to connect end caps, pipe connectors, and other collectors to collectors. They're comprised of 4 different parts. We're going to have a bottom, which you can see has this square base piece on it. That's always going to be pointed down. We have a top portion. There's a gasket O-ring portion, and then we have this latch, which also has a locking clamp that's going to be snapped off during installation. So to connect the pipe connector onto the end of the collector, you can see right now the collector is turned this way, so I can kind of show you this groove on the end of the collector manifold. That's where we're going to show that we're going to place this gasket O-ring into that groove. We recommend using a silicone spray to kind of easily seat that in there. So you'll fit it right into that groove, making sure you have no kinks in it, because that will cause a leak. And the next step is to take one of your plastic pipe connectors, and it has the similar groove on the other side, and that's going to be seated right on top of this O-ring. So we'll sit it right there. So at this point we have the collector and pipe connector kind of connected and oriented the way it would be in the field on the roof. The next step is to install the plastic panel clamp. The first step is going to be to take the bottom, which again has this square base on it and this latch component. We're going to carefully lift the collector up and slide it under. It should sit right there. After that, you take the top of the plastic panel clamp, which has this loop in it that catches the latch. Carefully install it like that. And then once you have it kind of hand tight on there, you want to make sure this gap that's formed has the riser tube running through it. If this assembly is rotated forward or backward too far, the edge could catch the riser tube on the end of the collector and it could damage it. So it's actually designed to have that riser run freely through that gap space. Holding the plastic panel clamp together with one hand, you're going to take channel locks with the other hand, and you're going to squeeze those 2 parts together. And then we're going to take the latch component and slide it on the other side. With your channel locks away, you can kind of just get it on with a finger. It should click on. The piece that's hanging off of that latch is actually a lock. It's actually designed to crack off. And then you take these 2 prongs and you place them right here and you press in. So installing an end cap is the same basic method as installing a pipe connector. We already have the gasket installed into that groove in the edge of the manifold. So we're going to take our end cap and we're going to seat that onto the gasket. We're going to take the bottom of the plastic panel clamp and seat it right underneath there. Take the top of the panel clamp, engage it into that latch. Once you get it tightened down, take your channel locks, take your latch component, slide that on. Again with the channel locks, you use that to slide that the rest of the way. And then you'll snap off the lock, snap that piece off, and you'll insert those as we did before. So what you'll end up with is a fully assembled collector, as we have here, whether it's one collector or a bank of collectors. You'll have a pipe connector and an end cap on both ends, but they'll be opposite of each other. So if this is the lower end of the bank of collectors, the water is going to enter through this pipe connector. It'll travel this way along the manifold before it rises up through these riser tubes and then heads out this way through this opposite return on the upper side of the bank of collectors. So with the pipe connectors on, if we were using 2-inch piping from the pool, you would slide on a standard 2-inch coupling onto either side, and then you would put your feed and return piping into that coupling. You could also use T's or elbows as well, just depends on how your plumbing arrangement is.